Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to cut this off shoulder exaggerated sleeve. It's very easy to cut and to sew. Let's just jump into the tutorial. So to start the tutorial, I just folded my fabric into an A shape. You guys know how we fold our fabric when we want to cut A lines, okay? So that's what I did here. Now you are going to, at the top, you are going to take the measurement of your upper arm, okay, but you are going to double it. For example, the measurement of my upper arm is 14 inches, so instead of marking 7 inches, I'm going to mark 14 on one side. So I added 1 inch sewing allowance, so which means on one side on a fold I marked 15 inches. Do you guys understand? Because we're going to add gathers, so you need to double your measurement. Okay, so from that point I marked 24 inches downwards for this is the length of the sleeve. I did this across the entire length of the A shape, to get a working piece. Okay, so after doing this, I connected my markings with a slanted line. As you can see, this is what we have here, guys, and just very simple and straightforward. I went ahead to cut. Okay, if you did not understand what I explained, I was trying to explain that if your circumference of your armhole is 14 inches, when you want to on a fold, you're going to double that measurement so you can gather the sleeve. Okay, so this is what the front piece looks like. So to cut the second piece, I said front piece, that is actually what the first piece looked like. So to cut the second piece, you're just going to fold the fabric again into an A shape. Then you just place the first piece, okay, of the sleeve on the folded fabric, and you're just going to cut the outline of what the fabric of all the sleeve has given to you. Just very simple. You guys know how we trace in primary school. Yeah, that is what you're going to do here. Okay, so after cutting, we already have our two working piece for both sides of the hand. Okay, we have two hands, the left hand side and the right hand side. You guys can see how beautiful the A-shaped sleeves are looking. It's time to get to work. Okay, now this I've already spread out I'm spreading out the sleeve. So what I just did here was I'm going to fold the top part and the bottom part on 0.5 inch because of the elastic I'm working with. I'm working with ½ inch elastic, so I'm folding in 0.7 inch, not 0.5. I made a mistake, 0.7 inch. Okay, so after folding it, I'm just going to go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch the top part and the bottom part. And yes, for the top and the bottom I used 0.7 inch. Okay, so after stitching, you give a good back stitch. That's for the top. For the bottom, you do same thing. Okay, you want to make sure you back stitch. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to attach our elastic. You guys now see why I doubled the measurement of the circumference of my upper arm, because we are going to gather the sleeves. Okay, so you double your measurement and you add 1 inch sewing allowance. That is what gives you what you will cut at the top of the sleeve. Okay, so I just attached my elastic to the fabric, to my to my safety pin, and I'm passing the elastic through the channel I made for it. Now if you guys hear me doing since I gave birth, I've been forgetting a lot of things, and if people hear baby crying, of course I have a baby, forgive me. So when you get to the other end, you also secure with a pin on both ends so that they don't fall out. Okay, then you move over to the bottom. So same thing we did for the top, we're going to do for the bottom. You pass the elastic through the channel you've created. You secure one end with a pin so the elastic doesn't go after you as you are putting it into the channel, and you secure the other part with a pin when the elastic is out, so everything is nice and put together. Okay, So this is what the sleeves look like. You can see it has this oval shape. You can, if you notice, the front part is a little more tinier than the back part, but you guys can see that we have this glove, not oval, we have like this glove shape, right? So we are just going to join it on 1 inch sewing allowance for both sleeves. You guys see why I added 1 inch sewing allowance when I was cutting. So I just did that for the sewing, right? Then after joining, this is what the sleeves look like. Now at this point, I made sure I put office pins on the top part of both sleeves so I don't confuse the top for the bottom. Okay, so you might want to do that so you don't make a mistake. Okay, now next thing I'm going to do is on the seam allowance, which is what I was showing you. From the top, I'm going to mark 2 inches. From the top, I'm going to mark 2 inches, right? And from that 2 inches point, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. Now that 2 inches point shows where we are going to start stitching from. Okay, then the 1/2 inch point shows where we are going to stop stitching. Okay, I know you guys will be wondering, why didn't we attach the sleeve from the top? But no, we did not, because it will not allow the sleeve move around your arm, or allow you extend it how you want to. Okay, so from the top again, I marked 2 inches just to show you guys very well, so you guys don't make a mistake. Now I did this from the front. You should do this from the back. I did it from the front so you guys will really understand, because I also had to flip to the back to also mark this again. Okay, so this is what we have here, guys. Now this is the dress we're attaching it to. So on the side seam, okay, from the armhole, from the top, I'm just going to mark 1 inch downwards. I did not attach this sleeve directly on the armhole point. No, I went 1 inch downwards because you want to give it a little space that will help it. You can move it up, you can move it down. Okay, so I'm just going to that 2 inch point where I marked, from the inner seam. I'm just going to attach it to the sleeve. See, if my plenty talk is confusing you, just look at what I'm doing. So I used an office pin and I attached it to the sleeve. So from that armhole point again, I just marked 1 inch. Okay, so what you are going to do here, that's your 2 inch point you marked. You are going to use pin, office pin, and put it there. You understand? Good. And you are going to stitch it like that at that point. First of all, I used office pin to secure it together. Because somehow I feel I'm confusing you guys with my explanation. So we're just going to stitch it from the 2 inch point to the 0.5 inch mark. Do you guys understand why we are doing these measurements now? So after this, I took it over to my sewing machine, and I just made a straight line on my seam allowance and attached the sleeve to the dress, to the blouse, and I did this for both sleeves. Okay, so you want to make sure the stitches are tight and secured. This is what it looks like. You can see that because of how I attached it, it's giving the sleeve movement. You can move it up, you can move it down. That's when you wear it, and it's just very simple and easy to cut and to sew this sleeve. Okay, you guys, this is what the sleeve looks like after I was done attaching it to the blouse. Okay, it's just, if you want it fuller, you can cut a longer flared or a broader flared. This is what it looks like. If you enjoyed this video, you should make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.